Hello everyone, welcome to this lecture. Plagiarism can cause very serious consequences in schools and universities. Many universities and institutions give specific description of plagiarism so as to help their students avoid it. For example, Duke University provides a video to inform the students that they will be charged with plagiarism if they copy, quote, paraphrase, or summarize any source without adequate documentation. Purchase a paper by mail or email. Allow another person to write a paper for them. Submit another person's unpublished work in their names. In this lecture, we are going to find out what plagiarism is and how to avoid plagiarism in research. What is plagiarism? According to the definition in Webster, to plagiarize is to steal and pass off the ideas or words of another as one's own and to use another's production without crediting the source. To make it brief, plagiarism is the use of someone else's work without giving credit to the original author, either intentionally or unintentionally. Some actions are almost unquestionably plagiarism, including buying, stealing, or borrowing a paper, copying an entire paper or article from the web, hiring someone to write a paper for you, and copying large sections of text from a source without quotation marks or proper citation. Other actions might be more of a gray area, including using the words of a source too closely when paraphrasing, but the quotation marks have not been used, or building on someone's ideas without citing their spoken or written work. You can avoid plagiarism by always taking the safe route and citing every source you use, both internally and in your works cited pages. Be sure to use quotation marks when taking a direct line from a source. Whenever you paraphrase, always remember to cite the author at the end of your sentence. Then, let's see how to avoid plagiarism technically. First, let's decide when we need to give credit. The key to avoiding plagiarism is to make sure you give credit where it is due. This may be credit for what somebody said, wrote, emailed, drew, and implied. Many professional organizations, including the Modern Language Association (MLA) and American Psychological Association (APA, have lengthy guidelines for citing sources. However, students are often too busy to learn the rules of MLA format and style or APA format and style. They sometimes forget exactly what needs to be credited. Here is a list of what needs to be credited or documented. 1. Words or ideas presented in a magazine, book, newspaper, song, TV program, movie, web page, computer program, letter, advertisement, or any other medium. 2. Information you gain through interviewing or conversing with another person face-to-face, online, over the phone, or in writing. 3. Exact words or a unique phrase you copy from someone. 4. Diagrams, illustrations, charts, pictures, or other visual materials you reprint. 5. Electronically available media, including images, audio, video, or other media you reuse or repost. Most students, of course, don't intend to plagiarize. In fact, most realize that citing sources actually builds their credibility and even helps writers to better grasp information relevant to the research topics. Nevertheless, mistakes in citation and crediting can still happen. Here are certain practices that can help you not only avoid plagiarism, but even improve the efficiency and organization of your research papers. Step 1. Reading and note-taking. In your notes, always mark someone else's words with a big Q for quote, or use big quotation marks. Indicate in your notes which ideas are taken from sources with S and which are your own insights with M, which means me or mine. When information comes from sources, record relevant documentation in your notes, including book and article titles, URLs on the web. Step 2. Writing paraphrases or summaries. Use a statement that credits the source somewhere in a paraphrase or summary, for example, according to Nick Ellis. Write your paraphrase or summary of a text without looking at the original, relying only on your memory and notes. Check your paraphrase or summary against the original text. Make sure to use quotation marks to set off any exact words and phrases from the original text. Check your paraphrase or summary against sentence and paragraph structure, as copying those is always considered plagiarism. Put quotation marks around any unique words or phrases that you cannot or do not want to change. Step 3. Writing direct quotations. Keep the source author's name in the same sentence as the quote. Make the quote with quotation marks or set it off from your text in its own block. Quote no more material than is necessary. If a short phrase from a source will suffice, don't quote an entire paragraph. Be careful not to edit or make any change that skew the original meaning of the quote. Use the quotes that will have the most rhetorical, argumentative impact in your paper. Too many direct quotes from sources may weaken your credibility. Step 4. Writing about another's ideas. Note the name of the idea's originator in a sentence or throughout a paragraph about the idea. Use parenthetical citations, footnotes, or endnotes to refer readers to additional sources about the idea. Be sure to use quotation marks around key phrases or words that the idea's originator used to describe the idea. Step 5. Revising, proofreading, and finalizing your paper. Proofread and cross-check with your notes and sources to make sure that anything coming from an outside source is acknowledged in some combination of the following ways. In-text citation, otherwise known as parenthetical citation. Footnotes or endnotes. Bibliography, references, or works cited pages. Quotation marks around short quotes. Longer quotes set off in a separate paragraph with indentation. Indirect quotations, that is, citing a source that cites another source. Finally, we need to differentiate common knowledge from citations. You do not need to cite a source for material considered common knowledge. Generally speaking, you can regard something as common knowledge if you find the same information undocumented in at least 5 credible sources. Additionally, it might be common knowledge if you think the information you are presenting is something your readers will already know, or something that a person could easily find in general reference sources. There are 2 kinds of common knowledge: general common knowledge and field-specific knowledge. General common knowledge is factual information considered to be in the public domain, such as birth and death dates of well-known figures, and generally accepted dates of military, political, literary, and other historical events. Field-specific common knowledge is common only within a particular field or specialty. It may include facts, theories, or methods that are familiar to readers within that discipline. For instance, you may not need to cite a reference to Piaget's developmental stages in a paper for an education class, or give a source for your description of a commonly used method in a biology report. But you must be sure that this information is so widely known within that field that it will be shared by your readers. That's everything for this lecture. Thank you for your attention.